answer a question that came to me. Is unconsciousness contagious? Which kind of points to a theme we often encounter around how we impact each other and how we hide ourselves from ourselves when we're around others, and how it can feel harder to feel liberated, to feel awakened around other people that seem to pull us back into our conditioning. There's a lot of spiritual talk around enlightenment, awakening, liberation, realization, being transmittable. There's transmission that when you are in the presence, the consciousness opens more quickly, fully, openly to its true nature. The shells of who we should be, these roles, these false pretenses, just crumble under transmission. Why is it so hard when we are unto ourselves, when we're quiet, when I'm stoic, when I'm meditating, when I'm in my practice, when I'm in my zone of health? Why is it so hard to transfer that over? When I'm with others, with my family, maybe in particular, or in a community where I feel like I don't belong, or a community where I feel special, and there's this almost observing of the ego playing itself out, or even an unconscious, like, autopilot. Like I blacked out. And who was that? Who entered my skin when I've been feeling so blissful and unity and free, and then suddenly I step a foot out and into the real world, or into the separation world, and it all just floods back. Is consciousness contagious? Is unconsciousness contagious? Well, it's not alive here to directly answer that question. Yes or no. but I'll share what is alive. That is, consciousness and unconsciousness seem equally unconditional. And by that, I mean it's not up to me, the individual, me, this body, this mind, whether I can just snap my fingers and awaken or snap my fingers and fall asleep. That's not up to anyone, in my experience. And so to the level that we are aware, that is abiding. And to the level that we're unaware, that is abiding. It can seem that we walk into a room with someone awakened, transmitting to us and feel like they zapped us with their power. I'm not so sure it works that way. What feels more true is that in the unfiltered, authentic presence of freedom, something that we know already within ourselves starts to dance. It's almost like it recognizes itself. Like, oh my God, there were never any handcuffs on me. Oh my God, how amazing it is to just feel the body. No one ever took that away from me. It's been here the whole time. Hallelujah. Oh my God, no one ever took my worthiness away from me. It's my birthright. Oh my God, this person who seems so free, who's not stuck in any role or obligation right now other than just this natural expression and movement. I remember this person. I am this person. How good does that feel? Even in suffering, oh my God, this person is grieving and expressing the value of life when it, in this form, is over. Just that beautiful life that was here and laughed in the way that it laughed and loved in the way that it loved and birthed in the way that it birthed and fought in the way that it fought. Like, that expression is sacred, beloved, like any other. And of course we grieve. Of course, when we don't repress that, oh, I feel that in myself, the own, my own truth about being human and non-human at the same time, of having this human heart and having this unconditioned capacity to allow it. How freeing. To know myself again. The way I did when I was conceived and came into this world, if that's capable of being known. So in the same way, I would say unconsciousness is unconditional. And that onto myself, on my cushion, I can't see what I can't see. I can't see my unconsciousness. I can't see my blind spots. I can't see the shadow. And so I might feel free, and in certain ways I'm very free. I don't need to be playing a social role right now. I don't need to be performing. There are no external pressures or expectations on me, so there's a freedom in this context. And then the perspective shifts. We'd step outside, we see others. And no one really talks about this, at least I haven't encountered it much. But a necessary aspect of awakening is relational. We don't do this alone. We never did. This thing, life. And realizing our true nature is realizing that we are limited unto ourselves in this form, this human body, this personal life, as part of the non-dual reality of the collective, if you want to call it that, could not survive on our own. And we might understand that intellectually. It's very different to realize it consciously, to encounter vulnerability and humility at the same time. Because to be awakened is incredibly vulnerable. To be open to the giving and taking of life. And that's not excluding other people with that, the giving and taking of relationship. And so we counter someone, maybe their unconsciousness or ours, their behavior. I almost lost you. I'll be transparent. I have like 1% battery and nowhere to put this and a baby asleep, and this video is happening one way or another, and if it wants to. Unconsciousness. So when I say unconsciousness is unconditional, is that it's not up to us if everyone wakes up or ever will. There's ever more room to grow and expand infinitely. At least the lived experience here is that this awakening growth is not an ending point. It's deepening forever, always. There's no graduation into freedom in the sense that the mind might think it is. It's a very different reality. And so to make peace with unconsciousness is part of the tolerance of life. Directly facing that some people may always believe themselves to be a different identity, to be fixed, and it's hard to say that without othering, because it almost sounds like there's like, oh, those poor people that never wake up. The reality is there's no hierarchy. And the suffering that may happen there is necessary. It's unavoidable. It's innocent life playing itself out. Just as the suffering that will happen in an awakened life, certainly much avoidable suffering quiets. And it becomes very subtle, and there's maybe just more clear, clean pain than suffering with resistance. But to get on a pedestal and talk about those poor people that still suffer, those poor unconscious people that will never understand this, and God forbid they spread their unconsciousness to me, but we won't say that. We'll just say those poor unconscious people. That's not true here. That experience of relating in that relationship, whoever, wherever, whether it's a parent, whether it's a child, whether it's a stranger, or angry driver, is as much a teacher as anything else, because it is bringing up the unconsciousness in us, if that is arising. And we know because we feel triggered. Oh, wow. I feel self-loathing right now. I feel rage right now. I feel insecurity right now. I feel panic right now. I feel unsafe right now. And we can feel, if we're not triggered, that maybe there's a little bit more freedom there to be beside someone whose behavior used to incite something separating in me or conditioned in me. The point is, I don't know what the point is, but maybe a point is that unconscious encounters are necessary and important, part of the awakening process, and part of this process is very humbling. And that vulnerability of being humble, of knowing our limits, of encountering our blind spots, and realizing that there's something unconscious here in relation with other people is part of it. It's necessary, unless we want to just hide and be in our own story of what awakening is and how awakened we are. How free I am to talk about all of this without encountering someone else who might make me feel inflated or deflated, and then realize that there's something there to grow into. What a gift, relationships. And I think that is also something that, or maybe that was the original thread I was touching on, of how what's the word? How just like relationship isn't just support in the awakening process. It's not just like being part of a community or a sangha where we can build each other up or tell each other things that are comforting or just be in each other's presence is the necessary component for awakening, or the only component that maybe gets amplified, but it's the relationship at every level. At the intimate, at the sexual, at the friendship, as the familial, as the power dynamics of, maybe we inherently have power dynamics in our life. I've employed someone, or I'm learning from someone, or how could those not be teaching moments? How could we not do this without others? So, no, unconsciousness is not contagious. And I said I wasn't going to directly answer that, but now I am. It's just we're encountering some aspect of ourselves that was forgotten, in the same way that we encounter that in transmission from someone spiritually aligned. And equally as important, if we don't flinch, if we don't hide from it, if we don't self-flagellate around it, if we lean into it, use it as a gift to explore our blind spot. And that's not to say we doubt ourselves when we know our own truth and we give our power away to self-doubt that, I must be in the wrong, I must heal this part of me, that this unconscious, if someone is abusing you, you'll know that truth within you, and you'll know whether you're running away from that truth of like, no, I don't deserve this, this is not healthy, or if you're leaning into it. It's the same for unconditioned unconsciousness. I'm mixing the words up. It's the same for unconsciousness of, oh wow, I'm in a relationship with a person that's triggering me. I'm realizing that. I don't understand this fully. There's a realization there. That's very different than, there's a clarity around this being an inappropriate relationship, or being in some way not preferable, or not okay. We can have boundary in awakened truth. We can not be friends with everyone in the world when we're liberated. But that doesn't take away the unconditional connection and openness, authenticity, love at a deeper level than this kind of social niceties. Love of who I am, what I am, my truth that's inseparable from yours. So let more people in when you're ready. And if you're not, the awareness of that can be very informative. How can I safely move in that direction? What does my nervous system need? What does the human need? If I don't know, how can I get support?